Welcome back to Tran's Play a Little Lily Princess. It is June 14th, 2016, about 8:40 p.m.
I don't know why Emily kills people. It makes me happy.
And with that, let's begin. We were on week 22, and Emily was making the rounds in the St. Minchin's household of girls or something.
Emily was?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, you weren't there for that.
No, I wasn't. I must have missed that one. I think it's week
I hope you didn't like anybody. Except Lavinia. Lavinia made it.
Funny. Okay, so...
What?
The problem here is that I think week 23 was the Becky week.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really remember what she needs. And I'm really low. I think I really spent a lot on Ermengarde, if I remember right, which took a lot of knowledge, apparently. And patience and sympathy, oh my. Nah. That's a good choice, actually. Just won't have... That actually covers a lot of it. Okay, go me. Hey! Alright. Well, it's something.
It's actually not that bad, considering, you were not max, so you actually got more stats than you normally do.
Right.
You normally get like 4 to 6 stats. That's normally what you make.
So I'm actually, dare we say it, good? No. Oh, I have an office. Hey. My dear Sara, how good it is to see you today. Huh? Thank you. As you know, your birthday will be upon us in only 2 short weeks. That's the end of the game. It has to be. 2 weeks. And the Becky thing's coming up. That means I have maxed out the Becky opportunities. Oh, what if I get to the last week and I don't have enough stuff for her? Oh, I will be so sad. Okay, anyways.
Then you better pay real close attention if that's what you're concerned about.
Oh, but I want Ermengarde to be happy too. Oh. And what's her face? The maid. I can't think of her name right now.
Mariette. What about Emily?
I don't really care about Emily.
How about Lavinia?
Yeah. She and Emily and Tybalt can go just, have a party.
What about Cook?
Cook's mean. Yes. I am planning a grand celebration for you. We will decorate the entire schoolroom and have a little party with activities for all the students. Wow, I'm special.
Try that again. And you started sounding a little like Sara in the middle of that.
I am planning a grand celebration for you. We will decorate the entire schoolroom and have a little party with activities for all the students. Then you will open your gifts with great ceremony, and after they have been seen and admired, you will proceed to a glittering feast where I will arrange some unusual treats. Is there anything in particular you would like for your special day, Sara? Will my papa be there? What was that? I only hoped. He had written me that he would like to be present for my birthday, and I hoped that you might have had word. I'm sorry. If Captain Crew has made such plans, he has not informed me. I was told only to have your gifts made ready for you. Oh. Yeah, do not lose hope, my dear. Messages travel so slowly when the ocean is involved. It is always possible that ships are in motion even as we speak. However, even if your father is unable to attend the festivities, I hope you will have a simply marvelous time and write to him all about it. Yes, Miss Minchin. Thank you. Well, my dear, if you have no other special requests, then you may wish to return to your friends. There's another gentleman I need to speak with. Well, that's fishy. Thank you. Good day.
Upon leaving Miss Minchin's office, Sara briefly crossed the path of a sharp-featured, dry little gentleman who wore a neatly tailored suit and eyeglasses. You can do this one.
Good day.
It works.
No, come on, I can't. This is gonna be a lot more than that.
Come on. I have so many voices.
This is a dude. You can just talk.
I do a lot of chicks. Why can't you get a...
My man voice is gonna end up sounding like Ermengarde. You know that, right? Good day.
He nodded at her, quite as if he already knew her name and saw no need for the two of them to be introduced once again.
She's like betrothed to him or something. There's something going on here. Good day.
Something about his manner seemed mildly unsettling to Sara, but as he soon vanished into Miss Minchin's office, never to be seen again, she quite forgot all about him.
That's a little bit awkward in the phrasing.
Out of sight, Miss Minchin greeted her visitor.
Ah, Mr. Barrow, here are the next set of bills for Miss Cru's celebrations. I have it on authority that the Parisian doll is nearly complete and will be delivered next week.
The strange gentleman took the papers she handed him and regarded them with a sniff.
You do not think this is a trifle extravagant for a young girl's birthday? Captain Crewe expected the very best for his daughter. I don't see how it is your place to judge. He ordered that your firm would pay all expenses, did he not? Yes, yes. You are very fond of the girl, then? She is my most important pupil. I see. Very well, I shall take these and add them to the receipts for disbursement when the next payments arrive. Good day to you, Miss Minchin. Okay. I need to have 3 sympathy and... Oh, look! I did all of Ermengarde's stuff! I am so... Act 1. Oh. Okay, I need to have 3 sympathy and 3 belief, which I have. So unless there's some kind of event like, you lose all your stats! Because you tripped and fell down the stairs. Okay. We'll talk to Mariette. And... 3 belief and 3 sympathy. 3 belief and 3 sympathy.
Mademoiselle?
Yes?
Her maid held out a book. It was the copy of Poems Antiques which Ermengarde had gifted to her. I have finished reading this, so I thought that I should offer it to you.
Oh, that is very kind of you. I do have a great many books, though, and that one is yours, especially, so I don't want to take it away.
Mariette smiled and shook her head. I did not mean to give it away, mademoiselle. However, I think there is a poem that you will particularly enjoy. It is called Bhagava. Sarah's eyes widened.
It is an Indian poem?
It is a French poem on the subject of India. I believe the writer may have visited that place himself.
Oh!
And she touched the book reverently, as though a portal to faraway lands might be contained within. Then, thoughtful, she turned away and crawled up onto the bed.
Will you read it to me? It is your book, after all, and I think I should like to hear it in your voice, the voice of France.
Fantastic. Fantastique. Tran has many voices. No, that wasn't what it said.
No.
Okay.
I thought you were being funny.
Whatever. I'm never quite that funny. France has many voices. I will read it to you, if you wish it, but I am not experienced in dramatic reading. I may not do it justice. It is a very long poem, and my throat will have fatigue.
I'm looking forward to this. I hope it's all in French. Then perhaps, if you only read a little bit at a time, it could be something we do together, every day. I would like it if you sat on my bed and read to me. I think it would be nice.
All right. And so, Sara leaned her head against Mariette's shoulder and listened to that soft French voice, speaking of birds with wine-purple wings, monkeys in the vines, and sleeping yellow-bellied tigers.
Oh, I wish I could see it all again. What are the most beautiful things you saw in France? Did you ever visit the Opera Ballet?
Oh, no, that is not for me. The most beautiful sight in France? For me, it would be the city of Orleans. It is not so famous as Paris, but it has much history.
A city? Not a chateau? Or a mountain?
And there is a statue of Jeanne d'Arc there. You would like that. It is a reminder of the power of faith and dreams.
Are you very homesick, Marriott? I feel sometimes that it might be selfish of me to keep you here.
Mademoiselle, you should not worry about such things.
But I do worry.
It was my wish to come here. I am content.
You don't want to go home?
Home is not a place that exists for me anymore. And, in any fashion, I am happy in this position, and do not wish to leave it. I would much rather be the maid of a petite princess like yourself than work in a gentleman's house.
Oh, does that mean that if I return to my papa's home, she will not accompany me? My papa is a gentleman. I don't know why she would not wish to be in his house, though. It would be wonderful.
Sara was playing hostess to Jessie at a tea party in her rooms, but upon this occasion, Jessie's interest seemed more drawn to Sara's French maid.
Truly? The corset is no longer at the height of fashion?
Not in Paris, mademoiselle. It is quite good enough en Provence. In London, the curved back and large bosom still dominates, but Paris must always be at the front of things, you see.
Isn't it a lovely idea, Sara? To be free, to move and breathe, to have a small chest and to still be beautiful.
If it is beautiful in Paris, then it must be beautiful elsewhere, even if people don't see it that way.
The fashions of Paris are emulated all around the world, but it does take time.
Marie Antoinette devised a fashion of shepherdesses, didn't she?
It was not quite so, mademoiselle. As I have heard, the queen grew tired of the stiff brocade and jewels of court dress, and wished something more light and simple. She designed gowns of soft, thin muslin with much gathering and ruffle, gowns that could be both beautiful and comfortable. That design, in its own way, may have led to many of the dresses young ladies, such as yourselves, wear now. Paris before all.
I thought that the Queen wasn't very popular in France anymore.
There are many who hate the royalty of the past and all that they represent, and others who still hope that the Sun King will come again. Perhaps the crown will be restored one day. I do not know. It is not for my hands to decide. As for Marie Antoinette, some mock her memory, but I have always had my own sympathy. I believe I was named in her honor.
Oh, how charming.
As conversation turned from Marie Antoinette to the Celtic origins of Jessie's own name, Sara's mind wandered into recollections of a book she had read recently. It was not entirely unrelated, for it had been a book about the French Revolution. Specifically, the prisoners of the Bastille, men who had spent so many years in dungeons that when they were dragged out by the rescuers, their long gray hair and beards covered their faces. After so many years trapped underground, they had forgotten that the outside world existed at all, and to them, walking into freedom was not so much waking from a dream as entering into one.
To doubt the sun, to forget there is such a thing as stars, those poor souls. And yet, over time, they must have learned to believe in their new world. England was very strange to me after living in India, but now it seems as real, or even more so, than my memories.
Sara?
Oh, please excuse me. My thoughts began to run away on their own.
A pity that they can't carry us with them.
3 belief, 3 sympathy, which I have. Ooh, I don't know anything.
That's true.
Rude is also true. Patience and sympathy. Let's try that. Done.
You like art?
I'm very artistic.
Yeah, you've gone way beyond 10 for art for some time now.
It's okay. But look, see, I'm pretty good. That's a lot of knowledge. I read me some books.
No, I read you the books.
Yeah, well.
Is this me?
Yes.
Miss?
Oh.
Sarah was startled when Becky caught her arm in the hallway one day. The scullery maid was usually too timid to be so insistent. If Sarah did not call out to her, Becky would more often pass by unnoticed.
What is it, Becky?
Oh, miss. I heard. Is it your birthday soon, miss?
Yes, it's next week.
That's what I thought I heard, miss, but I weren't sure.
When is your birthday, Becky?
Don't know, miss. Never had one.
Well, you must have a birthday. Everyone does. You were born.
I don't rightly remember that part, miss.
But if you don't know when you were born, how old are you?
Not so sure of that either, miss. The workhouse reckoned I were past 14 and old enough for service.
She doesn't look over 14. Mariette said she thought Becky was older than she appeared. Poor Becky to have never had a birthday. Well then, if you have no birthday of your own, you shall share in mine.
Miss?
Miss Minchin asked if there was anything I wanted for my party. I want my papa to be there, but she can't fix that for me. But she can let you come to my party, and I'm sure she will if I ask her to.
Oh, miss. Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure. Every little girl deserves birthday parties. Maybe you're older, or maybe you're not, but you're still a little girl.
Becky made a small noise, like a laugh, half swallowed and tucked away.
Oh, I've got a scarper now, miss, but I hope you're right.
Here we go.
When Sarah went into her sitting room in the afternoon, she found on the table a small, dumpy package, tied up in a piece of brown paper.
A birthday present.
From Emily.
And I think I know whom it came from.
She unwrapped the paper quite tenderly. Inside there was a square pincushion made out of not quite clean red flannel. Black pins had been stuck carefully into the surface to form the words, "Many happy returns." The sight, and the thought of the pains Becky must have taken to put it all together, gave Sarah a warm feeling in her heart.
I like it so much that it makes me feel sorrowful.
But the next moment she was mystified. On the underside of the pincushion was secured a card, bearing in neat letters the name Miss Maria Minchin. Sarah turned the card over in her hands in case some message were written on the underside, but there was nothing.
Miss Minchin, how can it be?
And just at that very moment, she heard the door being cautiously pushed open. Becky peeped around the door, then grinned and shuffled forward, pulling at her fingers.
Do you like it, Miss Sarah? Do you?
Like it? You darling, you made this all yourself.
Becky gave a hysteric but joyful sniff, and her eyes looked quite moist with delight.
Can't do fancy stitching like Mariette, and it ain't nothing but flannel, and the flannel ain't new. But I wanted to get you something, so I worked on it on nights. I knew you could pretend it was satin with diamond pins in it. I tried to, when I was making it.
Oh yes, a blue satin cushion and pink diamonds, the rarest and most precious of all. Something Becky made with her own hands in her spare time when she has so little is already more precious than diamonds. But why does it have Miss Minchin's card on it?
It weren't wrong of me to pick it up out of the dustbin, was it? Miss Minchin had thrown it away. I hadn't got a card of my own, and I knew it wouldn't be a proper present if I didn't pin a card on it, so I pinned Miss Minchin's.
Sarah flew at her and hugged her. She could not have told herself or anyone else why there was a lump in her throat.
Oh, Becky, I love you. Becky, I do, I do.
Oh, miss, thank you, miss, kindly, but it ain't good enough for that. The flannel weren't new.
Sarah laughed into Becky's neck, a queer little laugh that sounded almost as much like tears as it did like joy.
You are far too sweet. Look, it's just like the intro. They're happy.
She pulled back, looking into Becky's dear face.
I wish I were the fairy godmother who could bring you a magical dress and turn you into the princess you deserve to be.
Me?
Of course, you are the kind and ill-treated heroine who works hard every day without any thanks. In any proper story, you ought to turn out to be the lost daughter of a king.
Don't think my mom's ever seen a king, miss.
It doesn't have to be that way. A fairy tale baby might be sent down the river on a tiny boat to safety, or discovered curled up inside a walnut shell.
Don't think I'd ever fit in a walnut shell either.
Sara giggled.
Well, however you were born and wherever you came from, I'm very glad that you're here now with me. Birthday time!
Mademoiselle, you must hold still so that I can see the new dress on you correctly.
Whoa, fancy. I am sorry, Mariette. I heard a horse's hooves and the sound of wheels, and then they slowed, and I thought perhaps it was a carriage come to call. A carriage with my papa.
Mademoiselle, hanging your head will not make your papa come any faster. Nor will it help me adjust your dress for the party.
Is it wrong to keep hoping, Marianne? I know he never sent word that he could come, but he never sent a letter to say he absolutely couldn't either.
I do not think that I can answer that, mademoiselle. Hope is something very personal.
Then, I think I will. It will be sad if my birthday comes and my papa's not here, but if I give up hope, then I will be sad now. I think it will be easier to be a little sad then, while I'm having a nice party with my friends, than to be sad now. I am sorry, I didn't mean to make it more difficult for you to finish my dress.
Sara raised her head and spread out her arms like a little doll.
If my papa is to see this, then it must be lovely, and if my papa will not be there, then it should be just as nice to keep up our spirits. Isn't that right, Emily?
Yes, Mama.
Mariette laughed to herself, but would not say why.
Okay, sympathy and belief. I believe this calls for some tea parties. Some belief would help.
I get the feeling that you did not look at all what Mariette needed. That's okay.
No, I didn't.
I'll give you one hint.
Yeah?
I think she needed only 8 something. That's it. Just 8 something.
Okay, what do they say except for sympathy and belief? So, sympathy, belief. You can also gain sympathy through that. So let's do more diary. Thank you. Done. Oh, why am I not getting sympathy? Where's my sympathy? Oh.
I believe you also needed 8 sympathy.
Everything had a chance of sympathy. I picked that on purpose. I made good choices. I just got a bum deal.
You may have made a better choice if you had only looked. However, I'm not sure it really matters. Continue. It was, at last, the day of Sara's birthday party. There had been no further word from her papa. But at this moment, Sara was too carried away with anticipation to feel disappointment.
Oh, Miss Minchin, may I not go into the classroom yet? Everyone is already there waiting. Not until all the preparations are complete, my dear. This is not an ordinary occasion. I do not desire that it should be treated as one.
And so she was required to wait in the hall, breathless and fidgeting until Cook emerged from the classroom. That's me too, right?
Yes.
I don't remember how I made her sound, so if this Cook sounds different, just roll with it.
Everything's ready, Mom.
Very well. Take my hand, Sara, and let us enter.
Sara entered the holly-hung schoolroom as the head of a sort of procession. First, there was Miss Minchin in a grand silk dress, and Sara herself guided by her hand. A manservant followed, carrying the box containing the last doll. Cook carried a second box, and Becky brought up the rear, carrying a third box and wearing a clean apron and new cap. All the students in their seats stared at this little parade, the older girls touching each other's elbows and nodding, the youngest squirming with excitement. Faced with so many eyes, Sara felt herself unaccountably shy. Not since her first introduction at Miss Minchin's Select Seminary had she been quite so much the center of all attention.
Silence, young ladies.
The room itself was not quite transformed, but certainly made far more festive. The desks had been pushed away, and the long-form benches covered over with red cloth. A large table had been set in pride of place, its surface scattered with flower petals. It was here that Miss Minchin directed her entourage.
James, place that box upon the table and remove the lid. Emma, put yours upon the chair. Becky.
Becky had quite forgotten herself in her excitement and was exchanging grins with Lottie when that disapproving voice nearly startled her into dropping her box.
Yes, ma'am.
She bobbed a shaky little curtsy of apology, but with the box still in her hands, the positioning was quite awkward.
Hee.
Both tittered at once, and then looked at each other in startlement for falling so easily into their lost rapport.
It is not your place to look at the young ladies. You forget yourself. Put your box down.
Yes'm.
You may leave us.
She waved her hand, and the servants began to walk away.
If you please, Miss Minchin, mayn't Becky stay? Becky? I want her because I know she will like to see the presents. She's a little girl too, you know.
Miss Minchin was scandalized. She glanced from one figure to the other.
My dear Sara, Becky is the scullery maid. Scullery maids are not little girls. But Becky is, and I know she would enjoy herself. Please let her stay, because it is my birthday.
Miss Minchin took a slow breath and replied with much dignity.
As you ask it as a birthday favor, she may stay. Rebecca, thank Miss Sara for her great kindness.
Becky had been backing into the corner, twisting the hem of her apron in delighted suspense. She came forward, bobbing curtsies, but out of Miss Minchin's sight, she passed a friendly wink to Sara.
Oh, if you please, miss. I'm that grateful, miss. I did want to see the doll, miss. That I did. Thank you, miss, and thank you, ma'am, for the liberty.
Go and stand there, not too near the young ladies.
Becky went to her place, grinning. She did not even mind when Miss Minchin cleared her throat ominously and spoke again.
Now, young ladies, I have a few words to say to you.
She's going to make a speech. I wish it was over.
You are aware, young ladies, that today is dear Sara's birthday.
Dear Sara.
Sara's birthdays are rather different from other little girls' birthdays. Here it comes. When she's older, she'll be heiress to a large fortune, which it will be her duty to spend in a meritorious manner.
The diamond mines.
When her dear papa, Captain Crewe, brought her from India and gave her into my care, he said to me in a jesting way, "I am afraid she'll be very rich, Miss Minchin." My reply was, "Her education at my seminary, Captain Crewe, shall be such as will adorn the largest fortune." I wish you would stop. Saying these things makes me feel hot all over, and everyone is staring. Sara has become my most accomplished pupil. Her French and her dancing are a credit to the seminary. Her manners, which have caused you to call her Princess Sara, are perfect. Her amiability she exhibits by giving you this afternoon's party. I hope you appreciate her generosity. I wish you to express your appreciation of it by saying aloud all together, "Thank you, Sara."
The entire schoolroom rose to its feet and chorused Miss Minchin's words. Lottie even jumped up and down.
Thank you, Sara.
Sara looked rather shy for a moment, then made a very nice curtsy.
Thank you for coming to my party. Very pretty indeed, Sara. That is what a real princess does when the populace applauds her. Lavinia, the sound you just made was extremely like a snort. If you are jealous of your fellow pupil, I beg you will express your feelings in some more ladylike manner. Now, I will leave you to enjoy yourselves.
The instant she had swept out of the room, the web-like aura that had held the girls down dissipated, and they rushed from their seats in a babble of excitement. It was the boxes that drew the most attention. Sara was bent over one.
There are books, I know. Does your papa send you books for a birthday present? Why, he's as bad as mine. I like them.
Books aren't exciting. I want to see the doll.
For everyone present, through whispered rumors, had come to know that a quite magnificent doll was due to appear. Even so, when Sara finally produced the last doll from her box, a number of the girls were struck speechless. It did not seem possible that she could be a doll. She looked only a bit smaller than the youngest students, as if a beautiful child had lain asleep in that box. She's dressed for the theater.
Look, her cloak is lined with ermine.
Oh, she has an opera glass in her hand, a blue and gold one.
Sara drew out the doll's trunk and the little golden key which unlocked it. Inside were tray after tray of delightful things. There were lace collars and silk stockings and handkerchiefs. There was a jewel case containing a necklace and a tiara which looked quite as if they were made of real diamonds. Sara picked up a black velvet hat to perch on the last doll's curls.
Suppose she understands human talk and feels proud of being admired.
You are always supposing things. Her air was very superior, and yet the words were less vicious than Lavinia's outbursts in the past weeks had been. Perhaps the aura of celebration had brought even Lavinia some happiness.
There is nothing so nice as supposing. It's almost like being a fairy. If you suppose anything hard enough, it seems as if it were real.
At that moment, the door opened.
Ladies,
Cook drew herself up as if attempting to speak in Miss Minchin's dry tones, but the effect did not quite become her.
Miss Minchin has a meeting, so she said you should all have your refreshments now. Refreshments?
Becky, who had seen the preparations ahead of time, could not help blurting out,
Tell them what you get.
Cook shoved a heavy hand in Becky's direction, and the scullery girl closed her mouth and ducked away.
Special treats from overseas, all the way from America.
It's a cheeseburger.
Could be. McDonald's? Lait Royale with cheese?
Yeah.
It's some kind of beans and spiced tomato sauce, and they put it in cans.
How quaint. In her office, Miss Minchin was meeting with a familiar visitor.
Good day, Mr. Barrow. Have you come to see the goods? I can assure you the doll is just as expected. 100 pounds, all expensive material and made at Parisian modistes. He spent money lavishly enough, that young man. Captain Crewe is a man of fortune. The diamond mines alone. Diamond mines? There are no such things. Never were.
Miss Minchin stood up from her chair in confusion.
What? What do you mean? At any rate, it would have been much better if there never were any. Any diamond mines? I don't understand. Diamond mines spell ruin oftener than they spell wealth. When a man is in the hands of a very dear friend and is not a businessman himself, he had better steer clear of the dear friend's diamond mines. Or gold mines, or any other kind of mines dear friends want his money to put into. The late Captain Crewe. I knew it. I had a feeling.
Why?
Because he hadn't responded. I just had a feeling. Oh, this is sad. The late Captain Crewe? You don't come to tell me that Captain Crewe is... He's dead, ma'am. Died of jungle fever and business troubles combined. Also, he was sick in his last letter, which was sketchy. Like, why would they mention that otherwise? The jungle fever might not have killed him if he had not been driven mad by the business troubles. And the troubles might not have put an end to him if the fever had not assisted. Captain Crewe is dead.
Miss Minchin dropped into her chair again.
What were his business troubles? Diamond mines and dear friends and ruin. Ruin? That young man had too much money and spent too freely. The dear friend was mad on the subject of the diamond mine. He put all his money into it. Then the dear friend ran away, and Captain Crewe was already stricken with fever when the news came. The shock was too much for him. He died delirious, raving about his little girl, and left her not a penny. He left nothing? Do you mean to tell me that the child is a beggar? That she has left in my hands a little pauper instead of an heiress? She has certainly left a beggar, and she has certainly left on your hands, ma'am. And she hasn't a relation in the world that we know of. She is sitting in my rooms at this very moment dressed in silk gauze and lace petticoats, giving a party at my expense. She is certainly giving at your expense, madam, if she's giving it. I was always so sure of his payments that I went to all sorts of ridiculous expenses for the child, her maid, her carriage. I paid the bills for that ridiculous doll and her ridiculous fantastic wardrobe. I sent you the receipts. Barrow and Skipworth are not responsible for anything. There never was a cleaner sweep made of a man's fortune. Captain Crewe died without paying our last bill, and it was a big one.
Now Miss Minchin understood, and never had she received such a blow in her life. She felt as if she had been outraged and robbed, and that Captain Crewe and Sara and Mr. Barrow were equally to blame.
How is it Sarah's fault?
Her show pupil, her prize patron, her income, all had been snatched away. Instead, she was burdened with an extravagantly brought-up child, one who had cost her a great deal and might continue to cost her even more.
But what am I to do? What am I to do? There isn't anything to do. Captain Crewe is dead. The child is left a pauper. Nobody's responsible for her but you. I am not responsible for her, and I refuse to be made responsible. If you think she is to be foisted off on me, you are greatly mistaken. I have been robbed and cheated. I will turn her into the street.
Mr. Barrow turned and moved toward the door, showing no concern.
I wouldn't do that, madam. It wouldn't look well. Reflects poorly on the establishment. People bundled out penniless and without friends. Other parents might object. You and I are people of business, madam. We can be sensible about these matters. Better to keep her and make use of her. She's a clever child, I believe. You can get a good deal out of her as she grows older. I will get a good deal out of her before she grows older. I am sure you will, madam. I am sure you will.
He gave a little sinister smile and departed. For moments, Maria Minchin was incapable of doing anything but standing and staring at the closed door. During the past months, the story of the diamond mines had suggested all sorts of possibilities to her. Even proprietors of seminaries might make fortunes in stocks with the aid of owners of mines. And now, instead of looking forward to gains, she was left to look back upon losses. Such money as she herself had advanced was lost and could not be regained. Instead of a jewel of a pupil, she had only a friendless, beggared little girl.
The Princess Sara indeed. The child has been pampered as if she were a queen.
She did not realize at first that she had spoken aloud, and then scowled at her own loss of control. What was lost could not be recovered, but she would see to it that she lost nothing more.
You wanted to see me, Miss Minchin?
The older woman ignored Sarah's presence completely, turning her gaze to the young Frenchwoman who served as Sarah's maid.
Mariette, has the girl a black frock in her sumptuous wardrobe?
A black frock, madame?
She has frocks of every other color. Has she a black one?
Mariette's face stiffened as the awful suspicion grew. Yes, but it is too short for her. She has only the old black velvet, and she has outgrown it.
Miss Minchin, what has happened? You do not speak until you are spoken to. Bring the black dress out at once, whether it is too short or not. She is done with finery.
Yes, madam. Sara did not speak. She could not. Her entire body was frozen in place. Her eyes seemed to get bigger, and she went quite pale.
Captain Crewe is dead. He died without a penny. This spoiled, pampered, fanciful child is left a pauper on my hands. You, Sara, take off that preposterous gauze, change into the black dress, and meet me in my office. And you, Mariette, you were employed on the authority of Captain Crewe, and your wages were his responsibility, not mine. As he has left us with nothing, there is nothing left for you. Your employment is hereby terminated. Remove yourself from this establishment at once.
Mariette walked heavily down the stairs. A bevy of frightened, confused faces looked up at her, the students of the party which had been so suddenly called to a halt.
Oh, Mariette, what has happened?
Hors de mon chemin.
What? I don't understand.
Sara's papa is dead. She has nothing. I have nothing. What? Nothing? It is all over. I am leaving. The girls who remained were too shocked to prevent Marriott's angry exit.
Sarah, Mama.
I can't believe it. There must be a mistake. I will speak to Miss Minchin at once.
Lavinia.
Get out of my way, you clod. Lavinia shoved the other girl aside. Ermengarde could not find the will to resist her. It was all too terrible, and too certainly true.
What will happen now? Will Miss Minchin make her leave too?
Becky's legs would no longer hold her. She fell into a heap on the floor, her kerchief sliding loose, and sobbed as if her heart would break.
It's exactly like the ones in the stories, them poor princess ones that was drove into the world.
When Sarah Crewe came into Miss Minchin's office an hour later, her face was white and her eyes had dark rings around them. She did not look in the least like the rose-colored butterfly child who had flown from one treasure to another in the decorated schoolroom. Without Marriott's aid, she had put on the cast-aside black velvet frock. It was too short and tight, making her legs look drawn out and spindle-thin where they showed beneath the skirt. She clutched Emily tightly in one arm, the doll's face covered by a scrap of discarded black lace for a mourning veil.
Put that doll down. What do you mean by bringing it here? It should have been left in the room along with all the other things that are no longer yours. She is all I have. My papa gave her to me before I came to the school. I will not put her down. You will have no time for dolls in the future. Everything will be different now. Do you quite understand matters? Yes, my papa is dead. He left me no money. I am quite poor. You are a beggar. It appears that you have no relations and no home and no one to take care of you. What are you staring at? Are you so stupid that you cannot understand? I tell you that you are quite alone in the world unless I choose to keep you here out of charity. I understand. That ridiculous French doll and all her nonsensical, extravagant things, I actually paid the bill for her. The last doll? Last doll indeed, and she is mine, not yours. Everything you own is mine. Please take it away from me then. I do not want it. Don't put on airs with me. You are not a princess any longer. You will keep only your oldest and plainest clothes. The rest will be sold. You are like Becky. You must work for your living. What can I do? You can do anything you are told. If you make yourself useful, I may let you stay here. You will run errands and help in the kitchen as well as in the schoolroom. If you don't please me, you'll be sent away. Remember that. I won't forget. Come with me.
Miss Minchin led Sarah along the hall past her own beautiful, comfortable rooms, stopping at a narrow staircase leading upwards.
Your rooms will be given to another boarder. You are to sleep in the attic next to Becky.
Sarah stood still, just a moment, looking at her. Without a word, she turned to the stairs.
Stop. Don't you intend to thank me? What for? For my kindness to you, my kindness in giving you a home.
Sarah made 2 or 3 steps toward her. Her thin little chest heaved up and down.
You are not kind. You are not kind. It is not a home.
Before Miss Minchin could stop her, she turned and ran up the narrow stairs. When she reached the attic door and opened it, her heart gave a dreary little thump. It was another world. The room had a slanting roof. It was whitewashed, but the whitewash was dingy and had fallen off in places. There was a rusty grate, an old iron bedstead, and a hard bed covered with a faded coverlet. Some pieces of furniture too worn to be used downstairs were stored here, out of sight, under the dull illumination from the skylight in the roof. There stood an old battered red footstool. Sarah went to it and sat down. She seldom cried. She did not cry now. She laid Emily across her knees and stared at her impassive doll face.
I wish she could talk, if she could speak, if she could speak.
But Emily did not make a sound, and neither did Sarah. Sara sat in silence for some time, until there came a low tap on the door, such a low, humble one that she did not even hear it. Her attention was not roused until the door was timidly pushed aside, and a poor, tear-smeared face peeped around it.
"Oh, miss, would you allow me just to come in?"
Sara lifted her head and looked at her. She tried to begin a smile, and somehow she could not. Faced with the loving mournfulness of Becky's streaming eyes, her own at last began to water.
"Oh, Becky."
She held out her hand. Becky ran to her, clasping it tightly.
"I told you, didn't I? We were just the same. Just two little girls. You see how true it is. There's no difference between us now. I'm not a princess anymore."
Becky knelt beside her, hugging Sara's hand to her chest.
"Yes, miss, you are. Whatever happens to you whatsoever, you'd be a princess all the same. And nothing couldn't make you nothing different."
Okay, we're going to stop here for now at the cliffhanger, because that's enough for 3 episodes. Or that's enough for another day's worth of episodes. And it's about to begin a new chapter, or a new act. Thank you very much for watching Tran's play A Little Lily Princess. We'll see you next time.
I'm not a princess anymore.
But Emily is.
Her amiability she exhibits by giving you this afternoon's tea party.
Not tea.
Wow, where did I even get tea? Her amiability she exhibits by giving you this afternoon's party. I hope you appreciate her generosity. I wish you to express your appreciation of it by saying it aloud altogether. Blah. I wish you to express your appreciation of it by saying it aloud altogether. Thank you, Sara.
The entire schoolroom rose to its feet and chorused Miss Minchin's words. Lottie even jumped up and down.
Thank you, Sara. Thank you, Sara.
Thank you, Sara.
Thanks, Sara.
Alright, we'll just talk a little bit on this frame. We won't progress from here. Alright, so I kind of expected, you to be freaking out at this point. I don't know.
Why?
I don't know. I just figured, you'd be outraged with injustice, or would catch you off guard. You'd think it's, the end of the game, and suddenly this thing hits you in the face.
So I surprised you with my balance and lack of freaking out.
You have more... I think I may have infected you with my general amount of apathy.
Or perhaps I sort of saw this coming. He was ill. She's by herself. She goes on and on about how much she loves her papa. And all of a sudden she's the favorite of the school. Where do you go from here? As soon as it shows that this is Act 1, it's obvious that it can't.
Yeah, but if you
didn't
see that Act 1, though, how would you have felt?
Oh, I would have thought this was the end. This is based on your decisions, now Sara is going to be the new Miss Minchin, and something like that. So in this case, Hanako Games, I think, may have spoiled a little bit by putting that in there. They could have just said events complete or something, because instead of saying Act 1 events complete or Act 1 complete or whatever, I think they kind of ruined that it wasn't going to be the end right now, that this is the triumphant year that you did everything right or whatnot. Right, I agree.
Anything else?
I'm really glad I made good friends with Becky.
Yeah, why?
Because we're buddies now.
Yeah.
I need her to be on my side against the rats. Maybe Emily can eat the rats.
I'm not sure. Emily is still a princess, even if you are not. Maybe Emily is the little princess.
Anyways, I think the title screen is Sara in her little birthday dress.
Is it?
All happy, yeah.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, sitting there with Becky when she's about to, her world's about to change. It's sad, though. I feel bad for her. Because she's so nice. She's very rich, but she's nice.
Do you think she'll still be nice? She did mention that
she will.
She doesn't know if she's a hideous girl. She just never has an opportunity to find out.
No, this is reverse Cinderella. She'll be fine.
Well,
she'll handle it fine. She'll be sad about her dad. She's not sad about losing stuff.
Well, how do you think that it'll end now? She started out rich, now she's poor.
Well, she's going to be the best darn scullery maid they ever had.
Really? Did she really look like she was working well as a maid with Miss Minchin just then?
Well, she's in shock. Her father just died. No, they should have her be a tutor because these other girls aren't so good at the French. And she's free labor. So Miss Minchin can fire the other French dude, and she can be the new Frenchly one. And I invested all this stuff in Mariette, and she just left me.
Well, you didn't complete her events.
You really think that's why?
I'm not telling you.
I wonder how many options the game actually has. Like, if there are, regardless of how far I got, if that's what would happen, or if everything would be different if I had just finished Mariette's events. But Ermengarde, she's with me to the end, which is good because I feel like her and Becky could kind of have a lot in common.
Yeah.
They appreciate the simple things. They like the animals. They like the rats.
Becky never mentioned liking animals or rats.
She said something about that they're not so bad.
She said that she'd rather have a rat as a friend than a cockroach. It was Sara who said rats might not be so bad.
Well, yeah, but I feel like she's one that she's not bothered by the animal life.
Okay. I don't know where you're getting that from, but okay.
I don't know. I feel like her, out of all the characters, who has the most in common with Becky would be Ermengarde. They just seem down-to-earth kind of people.
I don't really think Sara has that much in common with Ermengarde.
No, I'm saying Becky and Ermengarde. Like, who is the most similar to Becky out of everybody?
Mariette.
Okay, well, fine. Except for the whole French thing. But yeah, alright, fair enough.
You lost her. Way to go. Way to be.
We had bedtime stories and everything, and she didn't even finish it.
You never found out if she's your mother. Maybe you wouldn't be penniless and without relation. They kept bringing that up, but I guess now we'll never know. Well,
yeah, and she did kind of make a face when she was leaving, like there was something else she wanted to say, but didn't. She'll come back.
Will she?
Yes. I'm not going to wave her just because you're staring at me. She's coming back.
Okay.
Not necessarily to work, but to visit me.
How much? What? Let's bet on this.
No, I'm not. What do we have to bet? I'm not betting anything.
Maybe Emily got her after she left the building.
Maybe Emily really is Mariette.
Maybe you're Emily.
Well, that's deep. Maybe her dad is Emily.
Maybe her dad is Becky.
No, I don't think so. Her dad's the beggar boy in the street. He's gonna become more... Oh, is he gonna replace Mariette's spot in the... We're gonna talk to him, because she mentioned I'm a beggar several times.
What?
The beggar boy is gonna come back.
Why?
He's gonna take Mariette's spot in the little conversation thing.
Why?
Because it just seems like the kind of thing they would do.
I'm not sure a sophisticated, high-level French maid is really anything on a beggar boy urchin thing standing out in the streets.
No, I'm just saying, like, he'll be my choice of who to interact with. Since Mariette is gone. Like, they're not going to have an uneven number of spots.
Oh? Are you sure about that?
They won't, unless it's someone new they introduce, like, the Rat King or something.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool. We should have a Rat King.
What stat would you need to talk to the Rat King?
Grace.
Really?
Well, this next section will probably surprise you a little bit. I don't know.
The suspense is going to make me crazy.
Yeah, we won't be able to play this for like another week or so. I kind of wanted to end this right before Mrs. Tran got to see the next act. Unfortunately, the game spoiled the fact that there was another act, so some of that bang was lost. I was really waiting for her to freak out. Kind of like how I wanted her to freak out when she played The Walking Dead. And there was this very supposedly gruesome scene, and I thought she was just going to freak out at that. I didn't play the game, but she played it. That was fine enough for me.
I exceed expectations.
Oh, how I wish that were true.
Oh, it is. You just stated it. In 2 ways. Maybe my dad wouldn't have died if I had more knowledge.
Maybe your dad wouldn't have died if you had more faith.
Maybe if I had all my stats maxed, I could have had like a super secret birthday ending.
There is something you get for having all your stats maxed.
Really?
Yeah.
What do I get?
I'm not telling
A new
you.
dress for Emily?
I'm not telling you, but you get something.
Regardless of when it happens?
I'm not giving you more specifics on that.
I might just start skipping weeks to see this now.
You should probably play normally your first time through. And you'll need to be prepared to make some important decisions.
Oh, man.
Let's say fairly soon. Let's say the next time you play,
You will have to make an important decision.
Oh, I'm stressing about it already. Who's my friend gonna be? I have to pick.
It's going to be Emily. Who else
Oh,
would
she
be?
better not be a choice of who to interact with. That would freak me out.
It's Emily or the last doll. One of the two.
Ugh. I don't like either one of those dolls.
The last doll looks very human-like.
We haven't seen it yet, but it's almost as big as one of the small children.
She might be walking around right now. She could be staying in Sarah's room.
Oh, gosh. That's so wrong.
Thank you very much for watching Trans play a little Lily Princess. We'll see you next time.
Without her papa.
We'll see everybody but her papa next time. And
Yeah.
maybe Mariette. We will see everybody but her papa and Mariette next time. Oh, it's your fault.
And her dignity and pride.
What? No, she still has dignity and pride.
Okay,
Didn't
then
you
her
see
room.
that?
Yeah,
did
she
she did she grovel
All right,
at any
all right.
point? No. She is a princess.
She
despite your choices.
She is.